Be me, 26-year-old feminist dating boyfriend for year and half. Now pretty solid. He's accountant. I'm HR coordinator at tech company. Both doing well enough. Boyfriend has tight friend group from college. They've been close for like 8 years. They hang out every weekend playing games, watching sports, doing guy stuff together. Always been fine with it. Thought it was good. He had strong friendships. Start noticing things about his friends that seem problematic and concerning though. They make jokes I find offensive, talk about women in ways that bother me. Use language I consider sexist, and their humor is pretty crude and immature. Realize his friends are actually toxic masculine influences on him, keeping him from growing. Decide, I need to help him see how his friend group is holding him back. He's getting ready to go to weekly game night with the guys like usual. Tell him I want to talk about his friends and their influence on him. Say that I've noticed they make a lot of sexist jokes and comments. Explain that surrounding himself with that energy is reinforcing toxic behavior patterns. Tell him that real friends would support his growth, not drag him down. He looks confused and says, they're just joking around. It's not that serious. Tell him that sexist jokes normalize sexism, even if they seem harmless to him. Say that his friends are stuck in immature fraternity mindset he should outgrow. He says these are his best friends. He's known them since college days. Tell him that doesn't mean they're good for him now as adult man. Ask him to skip game night this week and spend time with me instead. He says he goes every week and his friends are expecting him there. Tell him he can miss 1 week to show me I'm priority over toxic friends. He looks uncomfortable, but agrees to skip this time and stay with me. Feel satisfied that I'm helping him set boundaries with negative influences here. We spend evening together, but he seems distracted checking his phone constantly. See his friends texting him, asking where he is and if everything's okay. He tells them he's staying in tonight, and they send jokes about being whipped. Show him the messages and say, see, this is toxic masculinity right here. Tell him that his friends using that language shows they don't respect our relationship. Next week, he goes to game night, but comes home earlier than usual. Ask him how it was, and he seems less enthusiastic than he normally is. Tell him I've been thinking more about his friend group and their problems. List out specific examples of things they've said that I found problematic before. Explain how each friend has different toxic traits that are influencing him badly. He says they're good guys who have been there for him through everything. Remind him that loyalty doesn't mean accepting toxic behavior from people constantly. Say that he can have friends who support him without the problematic aspects. He's quiet. Then asks what I want him to do about his friendships exactly. Tell him he needs to set boundaries and call out their behavior when it's wrong. Month passes and notice he's been seeing his friends less frequently than before. Used to hang out with them multiple times a week. Now it's just once maybe. Ask him if he's been setting boundaries like we discussed about them. He says, he's just been distancing himself to avoid confrontation. Honestly, tell him that's not good enough. He needs to actually address their toxic behavior. Say that real change requires calling people out, not just avoiding them silently. He says he doesn't want to lecture his friends about how they talk or joke. Tell him if he really disagreed with their behavior, he'd speak up about it. Say that his silence makes him complicit in their toxic masculinity and sexism. He looks tired and says he just wants to hang out with his friends without drama. His best friend Mark is having birthday party and planning big celebration weekend. Boyfriend tells me about it and says all the guys are going camping for it. Immediately tell him that sounds like recipe for toxic masculine bonding nonsense. Say that bunch of guys in woods drinking is just going to be sexism fest. He says it's Mark's birthday and he's been planning this for months now. Tell him he needs to skip it and show Mark that toxic behavior isn't acceptable. He says, I can't skip my best friend's birthday, that's insane request from you. Remind him that sometimes we have to make hard choices to align with our values. Say if his values really aligned with mine, he wouldn't want to go anyway. He stares at me for a long moment, then says, I'm going to Mark's birthday. We have huge fight about him going to the camping trip with his friends. Tell him he's choosing toxic masculinity over our relationship and my comfort here. He says he's choosing his best friend's birthday over unreasonable demand from you. Say that it's not unreasonable to expect him to have standards for his friendships. He says my standards seem to be that he can't have any male friends at all. Tell him that's not true. He can have friends who aren't toxic influences on him. He asks me to name one of his friends I approve of, and I can't actually. Realize I've criticized every single one of his friends at some point before. He says exactly, "You don't like any of them. You want me isolated from my friends. Tell him I want him to have better friends who support his growth, not drag him down." He goes on camping trip despite my objections and doesn't text much while gone. Spend whole weekend anxious and angry that he chose them over me clearly. He comes back Sunday night looking relaxed and happy in a way I haven't seen lately. Ask him how it was, and he says it was great, really needed that time away. Feel hurt that he needed time away from me to relax and be happy, apparently. Tell him I'm glad his toxic friends make him happier than I do. Then sarcastically, he says they don't make me happier. They just don't make me feel bad about myself. Says being with them is easy and fun. Being with you is exhausting and stressful. Tells me that I criticize everything about him, including his oldest friendships now. Says his friends accept him as he is. I only accept him if he changes everything. 2 months of tension about his friends and our relationship is really strained. He's been seeing them less, but resents me for it, I can tell clearly. Every time he comes home from hanging with them, I interrogate him about what happened. Ask what they talked about, what jokes they made, if anyone said anything problematic. He's started giving me minimal information to avoid the questioning and judgment. Tell him that his defensiveness shows he knows their behavior is wrong deep down. He says his defensiveness is because you're treating me like I'm on trial constantly. Says he can't relax with his friends anymore because he's worried about my reaction. Tells me he's started editing stories or just not telling me things to keep peace. Realize I've made him afraid to be honest about his friendships with me. His friend group is planning trip to Vegas for another friend's bachelor party. He tells me about it, and I immediately say absolutely not. He's not going. Tell him Vegas with the guys is just excuse for strip clubs and degrading women. Say that I won't be in relationship with someone who participates in that culture. He says he doesn't even know if there will be strip clubs. It's just Vegas trip. Tell him don't be naive. Of course there will be, and I won't tolerate it at all. He's quiet for a long time, then says, "I already booked my flight. I'm going?" Feel shocked that he's openly defying me on this after I made my boundary clear. Tell him if he goes to Vegas with his toxic friends, we're done as couple. He says then, "I guess we're done because I'm going to my friend's bachelor party." We break up week before the Vegas trip after huge blowout fight about it. Tell him he's choosing his immature frat boy friends over our relationship and future. He says, I'm giving him ultimatum between me and his lifelong friends. So yes, choosing them. Says I've been trying to isolate him from his support system for months now. Tells me his friends warned him I was trying to control him, but he defended me. Admits they were right, and he should have listened to them months ago, honestly. Says I've made him miserable by attacking every friendship he has constantly. Tells me his friends make him feel good about himself. I make him feel like he's failing. Says he'd rather be single than in relationship, where he can't have his friends. Packs his stuff and leaves while I'm standing there, shocked he actually chose them. Week after breakup, see his Instagram full of Vegas trip photos with all his friends. They're all smiling and having great time. Clearly he's not missing me at all. See comments from his friends saying, "Finally got our boy back," and "Miss this energy." Realize his friends are celebrating that I'm gone from his life, like I was problem. Feel angry, but also notice how genuinely happy he looks in every single photo. Happier than he looked in months when we were together toward the end there. He's surrounded by friends who've known him for years and clearly love him, while I'm sitting alone having driven away the person I was dating completely. Try to reach out and talk about getting back together. Maybe I was too harsh. He doesn't respond to my messages for 3 days, then sends short reply back, says he's been thinking a lot and realizes relationship wasn't healthy for him. Tells me I was trying to change fundamental parts of who he is, including his friendships. Says his friends are important to him, and anyone he dates needs to accept that. Tells me he's not interested in recating things. I made my feelings about his friends clear. Says he needs to be with someone who likes him, and his friends not just tolerates. Reads message and realize he's actually serious. He's chosen them permanently over me. Month passes and mutual acquaintance mentions she saw him out with his friends. Says he seems really happy and back to his old self from before we dated. Tells me his friends are actually really nice guys when you get to know them. Says she hung out with the group and they were welcoming and funny and kind. Feel defensive and remind her about all the problematic things I heard them say. She says, yeah, they make dumb jokes sometimes, but they're genuinely good people overall. Tells me they all really cared about my ex and were worried about him when dating me. Says they thought I was isolating him and changing him into someone he wasn't naturally. Realize his friends weren't toxic. They just didn't like me, and I didn't like them. See on social media, he's dating someone new girl, who's friends with his friends, pictures of her hanging out with the whole group laughing and fitting in naturally. She's at their game nights, their sports watch parties, their group dinners, all of it. Clearly she has no problem with his friends, and they seem to really like her. Read her comments on his posts and she's joking around with all of them easily. They include her in the group chat and she's part of the friend group now too. Realize she's getting the version of him that comes with his lifelong friends attached. I tried to get version of him without his friends and ended up with nothing. Talked to my therapist about the breakup and she asks about his friend group. Describe all the problematic things they said and did that bothered me so much. She asks if they were actually toxic or if I just didn't like them competing. Asks if maybe I saw them as threat to my relationship and tried to eliminate them. Sit there realizing I maybe couldn't handle that his friends were important to him. They had history and bonds I could never compete with, so I called them toxic. Easier to say they were bad influence than admit I was jealous of their closeness. Therapist suggests I might have been the one exhibiting controlling behavior, not them. 3 months later, and I'm still single while he's thriving with new girlfriend. His social media shows constant friend group activities with her, included in everything. She seems to appreciate his friendships instead of trying to destroy them like I did. His friends comment on all their couple photos with supportive, happy messages for them. Clearly they approve of her in ways they never approved of me at all. Realize the difference is, she doesn't see his friends as competition or threat. She understands they're a part of package deal and embraces that completely. I saw them as obstacle to having him all to myself and tried to remove them. See announcement that Mark is engaged and my ex is going to be best man. Whole friend group celebrating together, and his new girlfriend is in all the photos. They all look like family together, tight-knit group that accepts and loves each other. Realize I could have been part of that if I just accepted his friends existed. Instead, I tried to make him choose, and he chose the people who'd been there longer. His friends knew him before me, and will know him after me. They're permanent. I was trying to be the most important person in his life, but they had years on me. Couldn't handle sharing him, so I lost him to the people who never asked him to choose. Still believe some friend groups can be toxic and negative influences on people, but understand now that not every male friend group is toxic just because they're guys. His friends weren't toxic. They were just close, and I was threatened by that. They made dumb jokes sometimes, but they were there for him in ways I wasn't. They supported him unconditionally while I supported him with conditions attached constantly. Wanted him to change his friendships to fit my comfort level and values system. But those friendships were part of who he was. I was trying to change him fundamentally. Learned that trying to separate someone from their friends usually means losing that person. Year later, and they're still together. She's been integrated into friend group completely. See wedding photos where she's in the group shots with all his friends naturally. They all look happy and comfortable together, like she belongs there with them. Realize she won because she understood something I didn't about relationships working. You don't get to have the person without their people. They're a package deal. Trying to isolate him from his support system was toxic behavior. I exhibited not them, called his friends toxic to justify my controlling behavior and jealousy issues really. Now I'm alone, and he's surrounded by friends and girlfriend who all appreciate him. Watch from outside as his life continues happily, without me in it at all. His friend group is stronger than ever, and she's part of it now, forever. They're planning trips and celebrations and building memories. I'm not part of anymore. Realize I had chance to be included, but I rejected it by rejecting his friends. Told him to choose, and he chose correctly the people who loved him unconditionally. His friends didn't make him choose between them and me. I made him choose. Now he's with someone who would never make him choose, and his friends love her for it. I'm the cautionary tale his friends probably tell new girlfriends about what not to do.